I think I tried a little too hard. Did I go a little too far? Did I settle for a run and love your heart? Well, the sun was always setting on us, bed and distance would tear us apart. Did the orchid lose all of its petals? Patiently racing time, testing my mettle. I pushed the pace, but even still to this day, all I can see is your face, and it's just picturesque as the cherry blossoms, pretty as a walk in the park. Is there a pink glow shining through your window? Do you get light from the stars? Did we meet in the wrong season? Well, before the flowers were to bloom? Or was I a fool? I couldn't figure out if I could ever change your mind or accept the truth and feel the way that you do. I couldn't if I wanted to. Cause you're just out of reach like a cloud in the sky. Are you a wisp of a mist that passed me by? In time I'll get a second try. If not, at least I'll have those nights. My body shakes when you glance at me. There's nowhere that I'd rather be. It's this feeling ephemeral. No, I wish you didn't have to go. Hey! Picturesque as the cherry blossoms, pretty as a walk in the park. Is there a pink glow shining through your window? Do you get light from the stars? Did we meet in the wrong season? Well, before the flowers were to bloom? Picturesque as the cherry blossoms, pretty as a walk in the park. Is there a pink glow shining through your window? Do you get light from the stars? Did we meet in the wrong season? Well, before the flowers were to bloom? Cherry blossoms, perfect as a walk in the park. Is there a pink glow beaming through your window? Do you still shine where you are? I think we met in the wrong season, well before the flowers were to bloom.
Swordmaster's dojo. Must protect everyone, including my brother, Afro.
Yeah. Shogun, nigga. Shogun. Just another day with some village niggas. Wolfpack, wolves, panther dogs, and gorillas. Freeze frame, Dean came like Master Splinter. Life some days be feeling like a wood chipper. I can still serve the jitsu and some Burke slippers. Alpha dog like Balrog, so don't even enter. I stab my hater with my sword and I leave it in him. Hope it ain't no blood dripping on my Japanese denim. Win or lose, either way, you ain't fucking with us. Plus we cut different, brush gold glisten. Blunt smoke hitting, weather cold feeling like a diamond froze kitchen. portion. Psilocybin saying, see my aura, help me listen. The facts feel fake, the real taste like fiction. Prison to a prison, take your orphan portion. Your stomach's full, but your hands is smelling like extortion. Fatality to morality just to release endorphins. Tunnel vision to stay focused on what's important. You ever hear a megalodon killed by a swordfish? Take your orphan portion. Take your orphan portion. Take your orphan portion. So Captain Crunch rushed through the brunch, milk mustache, looking grown and tough, like I could buy a corner store blunts. Baby face, they don't think I'm old enough. They might as well, I got the golden touch. Pearl from a clam when I'm rolling up. Soup brother providing the fire. 700 backwards, got gold in my eye. Killer shoes for the eye job. Money bags coming pronto. Tropical island on a photo, like Yaphet Kotto in a polo. It's getting spooky. Can't get kabuki when the sun's down, the wolves out. If you know what's good, don't look in the woods. All you see is eyes shine from the teeth, cause it's dinner time. And all my wolves gotta eat. So take your orphan portion, nigga. Yeah, take your orphan portion. Shogun signing out.
What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or?
Still to be happy about.
You're up too old.
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so.
I used to hate on Kobe cause I knew he would finish strong. And I seen myself in niggas he was hitting game winners on. All them insecurities feel like security in a song. I lost that loser complex, but for years I was in the wrong. How I fuck with 23 but couldn't stand 8 and 24. Like I never ate, like we ain't had the same 24. All the homies loved him but I just couldn't do it though. Until I started winning, like yo, this what he do it for. Oh, now a nigga up, so if you know me, know it's stuck. No more nights of chicken nuggets with chicken heads, now I need duck. Press my issue, all my tears ain't come with tissue, I was fucked. Now I really be like offended when niggas tell me this was luck. My exes still got issues with the old me. You knew me, but right now you don't know me. I had to level up, that's what they told me. Now when I shoot my shot, I be like, I used to hate on Kobe cause I knew he would finish strong. And I seen myself in niggas he was hitting game winners on. Seen the other niggas in the highlight getting shitted on. I guess that's why the losers and the winners can't get along. Shoot first, pass second, but now I see. Cause if I'm grinding while you sleep, then this shit starts and ends with me. And if I practice how I play, then either way, this all for kicks. In a trap moving quiet, trying to make a playoff piece.
Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
This ain't funny, so don't you dare.
Yo, what is good? What is up? Welcome back to First Cut Live. This is our weekly talk show every week on a live, consistent basis, every week on the same day. We never miss, never lost. That's what we do. Joining us here today, as always, we have our big man in the post, the greatest host, the unicorn, 50% from 3, never missed, never lost. I'm talking about the grace of a ballerina, Miss Superstar Sabrina. What's up, girl?
Hi, thank you so much for that intro. Goddamn. Came in hot over there, but I'm so happy to be back. So sad I missed last week, and I'm ready to get into it with you guys.
Absolutely. And also here, it's the 3-time MVP, Mr. Swaggy P, Mr. Triple Double, always into trouble. If y'all don't see, it's Mr. RB3. What's up, bro?
What's good? Happy to be here, y'all. Happy to be here.
I'm trying to actually make it a more consistent thing in my intros to actually make some sort of sense instead of just rambling. So
hey,
I made a little bit more sense, at least with the rhymes, you know what I'm saying? I'm out here, we out here, guys, doing the same thing we do every week, which is talking about the movie news and the movie discussions we have this week, even though it is NBA free agency week, free agency day. We got Russ to the Lakers. We have Dwight Howard coming back. We have Chris Paul signing for
over. I thought it was over.
It's never over,
it's
bro.
Never over.
Never lost.
Never.
Never over. The NBA cycle is eternal. It is forever. It is like Pan Am. Today, tomorrow, and forever. Shout out to Effie.
The chat. Look at the chat. The chat's talking about it before you were, Ace. Look, Kylie in the chat.
Talking about NBA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
JJ,
See, Sabrina, you outnumbered, girl. You outnumbered.
I guess I just gotta go again, guys. Sorry. I don't know about any of this stuff.
I want to catch up with you first, girl, because I know you're always popping off, always doing the most out here in LA. You know what I'm saying? Covering events, doing parties and stuff, getting the deltas out here, catching all them deltas.
Dodging
the vaccine better. Yeah, dodging that.
Yeah.
I thought you're collecting them like Pokemon, bro. Collecting them Pokemon deltas.
At this point, that's what it feels like. No, I saw Lollapalooza though, so that was pretty crazy. Because I remember like contemplating for a second, because I used to do Lollapalooza every single year until I moved out to Los Angeles. So I was like, should I go back for this? Like, I've been missing music, live events, stuff like that, because that's when we thought that all of this was going to be at least remedied. That's when we were like finally positive for once, and then all this happens, and positive. I'm so happy.
Positive.
That's a super spreader right there.
Damn, bro. Yeah, that's in Chicago, right? Am I tripping when I say that? Yeah, damn, bro. Lonzo out here spreading this shit. If anyone who doesn't get that reference, Chicago Bulls just got Lonzo Ball in the NBA free agency.
Hey.
Anyway, oh yeah, you're a Chicago girl.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the team.
You know what I realized?
Like, Chicago.
I feel like our Space Jam review was like super colored because you're a Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls fan. Yeah, you got that Lonzo Ball card, bro. How much is that worth now? Like $150? You're muted, bro.
You're muted.
Yeah, dang, I'm sorry.
Stop muting yourself.
No,
bro.
I can't because I be doing stuff here and I don't want things to interfere. I had this. Somebody saw I was wearing a Lonzo Ball because
he might blow up.
Yeah, he might. I mean, who knows? This has just been in the back of my cell phone. Keep this in the back of my cell phone for good luck. Somebody gave it to me. I don't know who gave it to me, but I was wearing a Lonzo Ball jersey at work, and somebody just slid it to me.
Oh, that's right, you do. Damn, bro. Look at you, Lakers, bro.
Yeah.
Getting rid of the young folk, going after the old ass dudes,
veterans, experience,
the old ass dudes.
Seasoning.
Damn, bro. I can't wait when you guys are out first round and you guys are gonna blame injury again. Anyway, also here, RB3. I want to find out about your weekend, bro. Let me know, bro. You guys got John Walker on the Lakers, bro. John Walker, U.S. agent.
No, I don't know about that either. Look at the way you're slandering the good hearty Laker team right now that we're getting.
But am I wrong or am I right?
The best team in the entire world right now, and this dude just can't hate. He's saying hate. Don't get mad because you signed a 36-year-old to a 4-year contract.
Oh yeah, but y'all signed Dwight Howard and Trevor Ariza, the oldest ass dudes in the NBA, bro.
He's 40. Anyway, back to non-NBA. Yo, this weekend.
Let's go back to NBA.
No, this weekend was cool, man. I went to see a little screening of, I guess, Dave Chappelle's Black Party. It's like a movie that came out in 2005. It was like a documentary that he had like a bunch of rappers like Kanye West. Who else was popping in 2004? Man, Talib, Mos Def.
The Game.
No, not The Game. No, it was no Game. It was like the conscious rappers.
Like Mos Def,
Common, yes, Common, Khalid, Talib,
Lupe Fiasco,
not Lupe, too early.
He was popping off, bro.
But not in 2004, But
it was Kick Push. Push.
Yeah, it was like 06. But
that was like 05, 06, yeah.
And then they had Lauryn Hill and the Fugees like reunite at the end. It was a really good. It was a good movie, and it was actually
Lauryn Hill, bro.
Yeah, it was great, and it was actually directed by Michelle Gondry. So like, it has like it actually looks like really beautiful. Like, you know, yeah, they shot it on film and everything like that. It's a really fun movie, yeah. And I didn't really see it until I'm doing that. I saw it with my boy Kate, so that was a good time.
That's dope, bro. That's dope. I saw The Green Knight over the weekend. Oh yeah, you were gonna say something.
Oh, sorry, I was also gonna say I worked on the Schmodown on Sunday too, so that was fun.
There you go, bro. There you go.
Yeah.
Spoilers, bro.
Hell yeah.
You're spoiling that the Schmodown is recorded beforehand.
They said it because they had an audience.
Oh yeah,
no, they had an audience for this one. Yeah,
they sell tickets. I've never seen that before. It was at a crazy bar too. It was like called Scum and Villainy. It was like a Star Wars themed bar. It looked like
I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah. Oh, you know about?
Well, you can next time. Yeah. There's another one.
I know, bro. I'm a Star Wars fan, and I've never been there, so it's kind of a bummer. I know. Y'all know I'm a Star Wars fan. Y'all act like, what? You like Star Wars?
No, I just didn't know you never. I didn't know this.
You like Star Wars? Yeah. You like the NBA? Wait, no, I had no idea.
Wow.
What?
Oh,
Star Wars?
Wow. New thing.
What? You know what the Millennium Falcon is? Anyways, yeah, I saw The Green Knight over the weekend, man. Did you see it, RB3? Because I'm gonna put you on the spot right now.
I did. I didn't.
Come on, man. Come on. You had one job, bro.
My bad, y'all. My bad.
Come on, bro. Is that you crying because you haven't seen it?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to. Yeah, I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But
I'm bummed, bro. I'm bummed.
Tomorrow for sure.
Okay.
Tomorrow for sure.
It's definitely a movie. It's definitely a movie for sure.
It is.
I will confirm that. That is definitely sources confirm that it is a movie. Something I want to point out, Sabrina, and kind of just getting to the main topic, just so we don't beat around the bush. Unless y'all want to, but if we do, then I'll probably jump back into the NBA bush.
I'm down. Let's go Green Knight. Let's go Green Knight.
Because my thing is like, I love this topic you chose because I saw a tweet. I don't even know if this was what you were basing it off of, Sabrina. Yeah, I know. R.I.P. R.I.P. R.I.P.
It's not R.I.P. It's not R.I.P. Come on, don't say that. God dang it, don't say that. What do you say that for? Jesus.
It's coming back.
Coming back.
Y'all heard it here first, bro. I'm doing a special Bad Batch finale sometime eventually when it's the finale.
Yeah.
Even if it's by myself talking to the camera, I'm gonna do it. Watch me. Watch me kill that. Yeah.
The intro's back. I can't
Bringing
wait
it back
to
for
hear
the Bad Batch finale, bro.
Yeah.
It's coming back. I believe the finale is this weekend, so be on the tune out for that or on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
But yes, Sabrina, I'm so glad you picked this topic because I saw a tweet. I don't even know if this is the tweet you based it off of, but the tweet was essentially, I don't want to put anyone on blast, even though I'm kind of am, but I won't name them. I won't dox them or anything, so don't go after them. But I did see a lot of people like it. A couple people might have retweeted it. I'm not sure. But someone posted someone said something like they posted a screenshot of the Green Knight reviews for critics and Rotten Tomatoes, and they said there's always a connection between if a critic really loves a movie and an audience hates it, that usually means it's good. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a sus tweet.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see that? Okay, I thought that might have been what you would have based
No, it was just because the way that I thought about this was the second I saw the movie, I saw it a few weeks ago at this point, almost 3 weeks ago, honestly. And and it obviously just hit. And the second I saw it, I was like, I know for a fact that this is going to be a divisive film, which like A24 is not a stranger to that kind of stuff. Like when we talk about movies like It Comes at Night, even Hereditary, Uncut Gems, there's so much because I think a lot of it has to do with the marketing. And I know we're going to get into all this stuff pretty soon, but I didn't personally watch the trailer. I had no idea what I thought about going into it. I avoid all trailers, but especially films that I'm really interested in, I definitely don't check those out. So I didn't see it, but once I did watch it after I actually had seen the movie, I just know it like leaned into a little bit more of the action because I went into it without knowing anything about the story. I was just able to let it wash over me. But obviously there is that thing with a lot of critics are probably on the same page. And I think my review's on like Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm one of the fresh ones because of course I'm going to rate this movie fresh. But yeah, it's just cinema score, all different kinds of things like that. It's kind of hard to get that connection with audiences with a film like this that is so challenging.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do feel like that tweet kind of stirred up not a controversy, but like a little dialogue between film Twitter that I saw. And again, I don't know who tweeted it, so I can't put him on blast, but people liked it and shared it. But to me, it was kind of implying, this ancient implication, and by ancient, I mean like 20 years, but still about like, if critics like it, it's because they're smart. If audience likes it, it's because they're dumb and stupid. If they don't like it, that means it's a good movie. And that's kind of like an outdated kind of shunning the large portion of audience members that I felt like it was a little much, if I'm being honest. Yeah, go ahead.
If we're talking, like, I totally understand talking about general audiences, but also general audiences aren't typically going on Rotten Tomatoes and going and putting their audience score. That's like a general audience that has like they have the need to do that. They're definitely interested and like want to talk about it. So this isn't just like a cinema score, somebody walking out and like asking every single person a survey of like, what do you think of this film? Like any random moviegoer. These are people that log onto their accounts and write reviews. So that's also like, that just doesn't make any sense because these people are clearly interested in film. And I think that's almost like I know we talk about like art and like art critique being elitist sometimes, and kind of having its ground in that way. And so that's just another take that's elitist. I loved the movie, but I can understand why somebody else wouldn't.
Absolutely. That is exactly how I feel. I think we've talked about this, Sabrina, ad nauseum, right? And podcasts past about how like there's certain movies that I will be like, hey, I really enjoy this, but I totally get if you don't like it. Especially if it's a little bit more surreal, a little bit more metaphorical, which is kind of what this is. It's a lot more metaphorical and a lot more surreal, considering there's enormous, trippy, magical scenes that you don't even know what the hell's going on, but you kind of go with it. At least I went with it. And I started vibing with it because I try to see what the movie's presenting to me. But a lot of the audience doesn't, and they just are not on board for the journey. And it doesn't mean that you're a dumbass if you don't think it's a good movie or something like that, like a lot of people posted on Twitter, which I feel is a little bit insensitive and a little bit outdated, if I'm being honest. But it's also an interesting conversation about Rotten Tomatoes scores, audience scores, and what people expect out of a movie. I kind of like how Dan Murrow puts it in his, his reviews. It's like a cinema score is usually what people expected from a movie. It doesn't necessarily mean if the movie was good or bad. It's more of like, did I pay money to see a stupid, cheesy movie? Then I'm going to give it a high score because that's what I wanted. I wanted a stupid, cheesy movie. It doesn't mean the stupid, cheesy movie is like Schindler's List or something. It just means
something
that's
like Hereditary.
what they
Hereditary is a movie that we all enjoy. I think it had like a D cinema score. And again, this is one that I totally understand. I wouldn't recommend every single person I know to watch Hereditary, but if I know
or Green Knight, to be honest.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing. My sister's boyfriend, just talking about like general casual movie going person, he's a fan of a lot of really interesting film. And what he said that like he liked it just fine. Like he liked it a little bit less than we did, but he said like multiple people walked out of the theater throughout the film. There was like definitely people were visually like they were kind of like showing like how they felt about it by leaving the film, talking about it, being like, oh, this movie sucks, like right at the end. He said somebody was like making fun of it like behind him. And I totally understand that, because if you go into a story like this, seeing a trailer, seeing like, oh, this is like King Arthur, Arthurian lore, something interesting, there's going to be like sword fighting and action.
Yes,
this is not
that's exactly
that's
what they
not
imagine.
What this movie is. Yeah.
Yes, they want to see the King Arthur movie from like 2005. I forgot what that movie is called. The one with Clive Owen. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I think that's what they wanted to see, because they even hated the freaking other King Arthur movie that I liked because it's pretty weird and trippy too. But yeah, I had an interesting theater experience. I kind of want to hear about yours, Sabrina, but I'll quickly tell mine because I did see mine in Arizona at a time where I felt like people wouldn't be there. And in an audience that was actually not as empty as I thought. I mean, obviously not packed out, but there was a couple couples in there, couples ranging from the ages of like 35 to 55, I'll say. And boy, did I have a time, Sabrina. I wanted to choke every single one of those mother effers. I missed the ArcLight so much, guys. I was like at the verge of tears. Because I hate them, bro. They're on their phone. They're laughing in the middle of like moments that are not supposed to be funny. And I get it. It's like, awkward silence. And they're just like, and I'm like, get the F out of here. A couple walkouts in my theater.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, say RB3, whoa, you unmuted yourself just to laugh.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. That's the real movie.
I would have killed every single one of them, bro.
I love it.
And I'm just like, y'all leave. Yeah, if y'all want to pay money and leave, then leave. But don't make it like a big thing, bro. Like, I don't know. I just hate everyone laughing on their way out of the theater while I stay for the credits because I'm a weirdo.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what I do. But also, like,
100%.
ArcLight was like precious, bro. People were there, like they respected the movie. As ridiculous as it was, they're not gonna disrespect the movie. They're not gonna pull their phone out and start texting out loud and start like going off. It's like, at least have some
back to LA, Andres. Come back to LA.
Yeah, they're bringing back ArcLight Hollywood. ArcLight Hollywood.
Yeah,
they better bring that back, bro. Yeah. But yeah, that was my experience. It was a shame. I know you haven't seen it, RB3, but I just feel like there is a disconnect between audiences in this movie. I can't lie.
Well, I mean, I can definitely speak to my own personal experience with having, with movies that are split between audiences and critics. For me, I personally think, you know, when you're talking about how that tweet was like the best movies are the ones with high Rotten Tomato scores and low audience scores or whatever. To me, honestly, personally, the movies that age best are the ones that are like in the opposite direction. You know, the ones that are like high audience score and low, you know,
Jurassic Park.
Well, Jurassic Park just had its high critic scores. I don't know what that is. That, you know, that's very high critics. But I think like Speed Racer, for example, I always go with Speed Racer. Like Speed Racer is one of my favorite movies ever, and this, you know, panned by critics when it came out. I'm sure there's countless examples of, you know, Rocky Horror Picture Show is another example, something that was legendarily panned, and now
Sorry.
Right, exactly. And then that has a bigger cultural mainstay than, you know, as you know, I love like, you know, Andre Triscosky, like some nice
Ridley
foreign,
Scott.
No, I was gonna say like Triscosky.
Like Jean-Luc Godard, one of my favorite movies is A Woman is a Woman, but I'm not going to tell every person that I know to watch this movie. I'll be like, oh, if you're interested in like film and like French New Wave stuff like that, then that would be the kind of person that I would be like, oh, you should check this out. But I know that not everybody's going to enjoy this. And I also think that that's the interesting and enjoyable part of all of this. I love talking about stuff because I want to hear what every single person thinks. And I think we can look at Rotten Tomatoes and like the critics and audience and even stuff like CinemaSins and seeing like with the landscape of like being very online with Rotten Tomatoes, CinemaSins, all of that, we could kind of see even Letterboxd, we have our own, like if you're like a film fan.
Oh, no message, just a donation. Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you for the donation.
It was worth it just for that little bell.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Hey,
appreciate it.
But we have so many different outlets to express our opinions, even on Twitter. So people are going to do it constantly. And we love doing that. We love expressing our opinions. And I like listening to all sides of everything. I know people that hated Uncut Gems. I loved it, but I completely respect both sides. This one, the second I said it and I put it in my review on Geeks of Color, I was like, yeah, I know this is going to be divisive. I know not many people are going to be vibing with it because like you said, it is very metaphorical and we're not reviewing the film or going into that because that's coming soon. No, but it's definitely not what you would necessarily expect if you just saw the trailer and you didn't know anything about it. You didn't know anything about who directed it. Because if you know David Lowery's work or whatever, you know that you're in for something more cerebral, metaphorical. It is going to make you think, and there's not going to be a lot of like swordplay. Like I would have just known that right off the bat. I kind of figured it. But I think people look at Rotten Tomatoes wrong. I think people like, because people see like 95%. So that's a 95 out of 100 or whatever. And I know on the internet, people have been like nailing it over everyone's head that that's not the case. But for most people, they Google a film, it's one of the first things that pops up is
and they still don't
a Rotten
get it.
Tomatoes score. And they don't. And it says it on the website, like Rotten Tomatoes knows what it is. And if you know what it is, then you can actually look at stuff a little bit more differently because it's much more nuanced because it's basically like, oh, would you recommend it? Do you like it? Or is it rotten? It's not necessarily like a score. You could include a score, but that's not what this percentage means. So I'm not surprised at all to see how polarizing it is. It's 100% expected, but it's also like if somebody goes to a theater randomly, doesn't know anything about any of the movies that are out and Googles The Green Knight and then sees 90% on Rotten Tomatoes and they're like, oh, I'm going to go check that out. I could see how they could be disappointed if it's not the type of thing that they're into.
And it's also too, the clarification, we've talked about this forever too on different episodes about just because a movie is metaphorical and is surreal and is cerebral, like you said, Sabrina, doesn't necessarily mean it's good. And I've made it a point to point out movies that have been praised and lauded and are like art films and everyone's like, this is the best movie ever. And I've said like on this show that I don't care for it. I mean, I can't name them off the top of my head, but there's a couple movies that I've said RB3 that are too saucy for me, a little bit too much sauce, that are a little too much. Just bring it a little bit back down to earth, just so you don't have to be floating up in the clouds the whole time. Moonlight, yeah, a little, it's a little too artsy fartsy, but that's wrong. Probably not. There's other movies that have been more like.
See, you're funny. You're saying that about what you're feeling, but for me, like y'all are kind of getting me a little nervous for Green Knight. I ain't gonna lie, because I know.
I'm curious about because you're
because
you're an interesting guy, bro. Because you can hate some great movies.
Well, yeah.
We all know that. Well, no. We all know the 2049.
I think that's justified, but it's funny because I think Sabrina, you're mentioning like people will walk into this and don't know David Lowery. Like for me, it's like a 50-50 shot because I love Peach Dragon, and I love. You don't like A Ghost Story. That's exactly it. Like A Ghost Story, I can't stand.
A Ghost Story is my favorite movie ever.
One of the best movies of the last decade. Wow.
Yeah, no, I remember that episode when we came in to talk about. I literally watched it right before it came in the pod with you. I was like, dude, I just couldn't. Like, I just couldn't do it. Like, I was like, that wasn't it for me. But I volunteer. So I just don't. I'm just I don't know. Do you think it's more of like a Ghost Story lane?
It's definitely not a Ghost Story level.
Okay, no, it's different, but
it's definitely more like, I don't want to say this, but I guess I have to say it. Mother?
No. Don't even say that right now.
Really?
Don't even say that. No, absolutely not. That is not true. Okay. Also, they should have just used your voice for all the trailer stuff. Yeah. They'd be like, mother, every single time they came out. No, absolutely not. See, that's why I don't want to talk about the actual movie too much right now because RB3 hasn't seen it and we are diving into our discussion because the meaning of David Lowery is going to be coming out this week. And I went into it knowing nothing. And so I just let it wash over me. It's just an experience. And so that's kind of the way I would recommend it for anybody who is interested in that type of thing. I don't want any of the stuff we say like right now to like sway you in either direction. Plus, obviously, I know it wouldn't RB3.
It's still a trip though. Like that's how I took it. I was like, yo, it's a trip, bro. Literally. I mean,
he's going on a trip. Like an adventure. It's going an adventure film.
He's on his horse and he's on a trip, and he's tripping.
But genuinely, to get off of the actual like the Green Knight,
it's true though, right, Sabrina? Like he's on a trip and he's tripping, like straight up tripping the whole time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry, Sabrina, go ahead.
No, but to talk about like A24 as like a brand, because obviously we joke about it all the time. We're like A24 Avengers. These are the types of films that like we cling to immediately. And all of us really enjoy a lot of the works that they put out. And
I mean, if I'm being honest about this movie, Sabrina, again, we don't want to review it, but it's definitely a movie. And when I mean that in the best way possible. I mean, like it is cinematic as F. It is directed the shit out of like straight up
cinematography.
The score is like
Andrew Palermo did it. Oh my God.
But genuinely.
The score too. See, I don't even, we're going to review it. We're going to review it. But to kind of talk about A24 as a brand in general, they do, as successful as they are for creating their own atmosphere and tone, and you kind of know what you're going into with any of the films, even if we range from like Zola to The Green Knight, you know you're always in for something very unique and very interesting, even if it's totally different films. But I do think they have a legit issue with marketing to general audiences. I think they have a built-in brand.
Or is it, that was my second question. I'm so glad you brought this up, Sabrina, because let's talk about marketing. Is the marketing an issue or is it kind of genius? Because you do get general audiences to get in kind of, not really, but kind of deceiving them. And I don't want to say deceiving, but kind of like selling them on a movie that's not there.
Marketing is manipulation. That's all it is. I studied marketing.
That's
literally
smart,
the first thing you learn is that it's 100% manipulation. So it's smart from a point of, okay, maybe this person's going to pay for a ticket.
More money.
But then when people
walk out, they already paid.
But when people are like panning your film because you marketed a certain thing and then it's very different from that, even though it's along a similar type of thing. But yeah, money. But I feel like their brand already has such a loyalty behind it that they don't have to do that anymore. And I know there's so much to talk about with this film in particular because David Lowery had a cut that was going to premiere pre-COVID. He spent like 6 months re-editing the film entirely. And I just wonder if that was probably going to be like a more commercially palatable film versus this one. I'm very happy with this film in particular because it's my number one of the year, obviously, and I liked it. And I'm happy with him as a filmmaker that he was able to edit the film that he wanted. It's just interesting to me that pre-COVID, if COVID never happened or if it happened months later or whatever, we could have had a completely different film with The Green Knight.
I think it would have been. I am actually going to push back on that, maybe a little. I actually think it would have been weirder, Sabrina. Maybe I'm just tripping, but I remember.
No.
Really, you think it's more commercial?
No, 100%, because I think they probably pulled a Under the Silver Lake type of thing, where they're like, this movie is so weird, we don't know how to market it. So I think that original cut was more commercially palatable.
Really?
And then since David Lowery felt the need to completely re-edit it, he really made it his film, because I genuinely think that he is such a meticulous and talented filmmaker. In his young career, I mean, he's only like 40. He's made a few movies at this point, but he has a long career ahead of him. So I really do think that original cut was probably much more palatable. And this one is where he was like, okay, we've been inside. I don't like this movie, because that's what he said. He said he didn't love the cut that was going to premiere before. And so he spent 6 months re-editing it. So it's interesting. Obviously, we'll never know. It's the opposite of like Snyder cut and everything. It's like, what's the studio cut? What's the A24 cut?
Yeah.
Which I'm happy with this one. Shit. But I wonder about that kind of stuff. And I wonder if the trailers maybe reflect more of what that original movie was. But we know with stuff like It Comes at Night and Hereditary and all these different films, they portray something that they don't give. So if you're a consumer and you're looking at something that you get a completely different vibe of, you get a little taste of it. So then you're finally like, oh yeah, I'm all in, cashing in, watching this movie. And then you don't get what they kind of advertised. It could be a little jarring. I don't watch trailers, so I don't care about any of that kind of stuff. I've seen the Jungle Cruise trailer in front of movies at AMC. So many times. I will not watch the movie because I've seen the trailer so many times. Like, I'm just I hate watching trailers. Did you guys see it?
I haven't, but it made money. I was surprised.
But
35 mil?
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's not bad for a movie that's on the same time as Disney Plus. Cruella made 20, bro.
Well, yeah, but more people, it's The Rock. But I was going to say
True, but that's a lot more. 15 mil more.
But talking about like A24, and their branding and their marketing, I don't necessarily think it's like the most hindrance thing to them to preserve like secrecy. I think if anything, that's just something we see in like a lot of great filmmakers have been able to maintain in their brand, right? Like Nolan trailers, you get nothing from any kind of Nolan trailers.
Yes.
Even
all of them just look epic.
Yeah, all of them look epic. And then even Pixar to some extent, like they will give you the whole first act in the trailer, but they definitely won't give you act 2 and 3. So by the time you get into the movie, like you're like kind of like, whoa, what's really happening here? They'll give you a lot of setup, but they definitely won't give you like certain parts in the movie. And we saw that to the detriment of like Soul, right? Like Soul literally had like the most like, I feel like biggest backlash of all, because it had like the whole like surprise cat Tina Fey element to it. But they do that. I mean, if you pay close attention to their marketing, they did that with Toy Story 3, with like the bear. They do that with a lot of things. So
Yeah, but I can't lie, Sabrina. So we talked about this beforehand, because we both said we didn't see the trailer going in. Obviously, you saw this movie a while back. I just saw it, but I did not see the trailer going in. I remember seeing that little teaser where it's like the Green Knight and he has like a sword or whatever. Yeah, but I was like 15 seconds. It's a 15-second teaser, but I didn't see the trailer. I finished the movie, and then I saw the trailer like the day after the movie. I literally said to myself, that's not what I saw. Dead ass, that's not what I saw. That's not the same movie. But it's also like they did kind of give a lot way in the trailer.
Did they?
Yeah. Did you see the trailer?
Yes.
The final scene is like in the damn trailer. I was like,
well,
what?
So that's the thing. It's like, obviously we know like Marvel has that issue of showing the third act in trailers, which is so ridiculous. Yes. And then the opposite of what we kind of, that like non-transparent A24 marketing, where they're marketing a film that might not necessarily be the film that they're actually marketing. We have something like Old. That was my biggest criticism of Old, is that I had to watch the trailer for a show that I was doing. We were reviewing it. And then when I watched the movie, I'm like, holy crap. Everything I hated in the trailer is literally directly reflected in the movie. The trailer gave away every single major moment, basically. It's like, I guess Old has been out for a second, so I'm just gonna say one thing, plus is in the trailer. It's like they showed Eliza Scanlon pregnant in the trailer, and they showed her death in the trailer.
I don't remember, but yeah, I remember her being pregnant and shit. But
they showed literally her death.
I remember that part. I was like, yo, what the freak? Like, I already know how this scene's gonna end. Like,
Exactly. So that's
I
why
hate
when you're
that.
watching it in the movie, then you know exactly what is going to happen next at any given point because they gave away all these moments in the trailer. So I am a fan of showing just enough to get people like hooked in and to also really display like the atmosphere and tone that you're setting so that somebody knows if they watch that trailer, okay, this is something I'm interested in. Last Night in Soho is a great example of that one dropping. I don't know anything about the story from the trailer, but it looks fantastic. It looks like something right up my alley. I'm getting like Suspiria vibes. I love it. But I don't know anything, and I'm excited to learn when I watch the movie. I don't want to watch the movie with the trailer.
Yeah, I'm really, for some reason, 2021 is my year of like avoiding trailers completely.
Yeah.
For at least for movies I want to see. Like I haven't seen the Dune trailer, the new one.
I haven't either.
I've been avoiding it. I know a lot of people did reaction videos to it and all that, but I've avoided that. I avoided the Green Knight one. There's a couple other ones that I've gone out of my way not to see. But yeah, I feel like trailers nowadays are desperate to try and get you in the theater because that's kind of their job, is to try and sell the movie. Regardless of your thoughts on Rotten Tomatoes or your reviews or whatever, they don't really care as long as people pay money to go see it. Which is why I still feel like the A24 model is pretty smart in the sense of like, I can convince people to go check out an art movie, dead ass art movie, by telling them it's like, yeah, it's like a freaking Knights of the Round Table, man. And it's like, not really. It's kind of, I mean, it's there. You see a round table, but it's not really about that at all. But you can kind of convince the audience to believe that's what it is, which is why I did get my theater, which again, I did my own eye test, which is like the 35 to 55 range, all couples, pretty much all white, to be honest. So it was
Kylie donated $5. Jungle Cruise had a certain scene which legit had me cry as someone in LGBTQ. It's the first time I saw coming out done right by a major studio, and I can't say how impressed I was. It definitely became my favorite movie of the year.
Wow, that's really cool. I've heard a lot of positive things about Jungle Cruise, almost shockingly positive.
Wow.
To the point where
maybe I'll check it out then. I mean, I've heard positive things, but also it's just like hard to differentiate like when like Twitter embargo lifts on stuff and people start tweeting out some of their thoughts.
When there's the phony Twitter critics out there who like will say anything positive for anything. Yeah,
exactly. And so that's what I honestly thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought a lot when like the Jungle Cruise embargo lifted and I saw everybody saying positive stuff. I was like, eh. But I mean, just for that, because moments like that are really important and special to me as well. So knowing that.
Damn, I really want to review Green Knight with you, Sabrina. I know we can't, but
well, we technically will in our meaning of episode.
We will eventually, maybe. I don't even know what's happening with me. But that's my thing is like, if I'm being honest, one thing I do want to say, and I know there's been a couple of people in the chat who've seen it and have said they didn't like it or they liked it. That's fine. But I do feel, and I want to point this out, and this is the last thing I'll say about Green Knight. Regardless of my thoughts on it, which I do have plenty of, I don't feel like, I heard a lot of people talking about like the source material, the poem, and you gotta I will watch a movie and that's that, fam. Like I don't have to read a book. I don't have to read an essay to say, explain the Green Knight to me, click here, or like a freaking video explained, Green Knight explained, click here, YouTube freaking channel, F that crap. I hate that with all my heart. Watch the movie, get what you feel, what you interpret, what you feel it represented to your heart, to your soul. Don't freaking read up. I just hate that. I mean, if you want to, you totally can. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying I don't think you have to. It's like this thing of like, you have to. No, you got to go to explain.com. And it's like, no.
I'm on the same page with you about this movie in particular because I think that that's kind of the point of it. The poem is from 14th century and nobody even knows who wrote it. It's been translated anonymous and like adapted into different works. I have the Tolkien version on my bookshelf. I haven't even read it or looked at it. It's Brandon's, but there's been so many different people that have taken this story and kind of made it their own and put their own unique stamp on it. And I feel like this is just the same thing with David Lowery being able to do that himself. And there's so much in the poem that is up for interpretation. It is not literal. It is a very short poem.
Yeah, it's metaphorical, fam.
That's the same thing about this film that I kind of feel like there's so many different moments where you can kind of decide yourself what something means to a different person. And there's no finite answer. And that's why I feel like some people don't like that because it's a little bit challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just a little bit annoying if you are going, like I watched the show Emily in Paris. I don't know why I'm talking about Emily in Paris right now, but Emily in Paris is straightforward garbage. I knew exactly what I was going into when I was watching it. And I was like, this is all right. I'm wasting my time doing this thing. And that's how some people see like movies, you know, it's an escape. It's something, it's a hobby to like waste time and like do all that kind of stuff. And I do get it. If you're like getting off of work and you're so tired and you're like, I want to sit down and have a blast at the theaters, this isn't necessarily the movie for that. It's just not.
It's not it, man. No. I just wanted to clarify that because I do feel like this need to have everything explained to you and dissected, and this freaking host comes on the screen and says, let me tell you what you just saw. And it's like, no, why? That's not how it should. I don't know. You can do it if you want. I'm absolutely not judging anyone who does. I just don't feel like that should be a requirement for watching a film, even if it is a film like this, which is much more metaphorical. But I will say this is like the most hip hop film I've seen in a while. It is hip hop, fam. It is a straight up hip hop movie.
What do you mean?
I mean a lot. I can't say, right? I can't spoil.
Okay. Well, we'll.
I just feel like it's straight up like the whole thing is like it feels like the whole point of the movie with Gawain and his journey or wherever. I'm trying to be as vague as possible. RB3.
Is he trying to like snatch up his baby mama or something? Or
no,
what?
he's just like he's straight up like he's just trying kind of low key, but like also like besides that loves angle. Like he's just trying to be the GOAT, like straight up. Like he's like a lot of people ask him like, yo, what you trying to do? And he's like, yo, I'm trying to be great, fam. I'm trying to be the best. And he's like, oh, you want to be the best? You got to do this crazy ass shit in this trip. And he's like, I bet I'm gonna do that shit. Like it's like kind of like a hip hop journey where he's like trying to prove himself to everyone, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
I mean, we're definitely gonna talk about it so much more, but like I really do love how it talks like about like toxic masculinity, all these different ideas, even at a time like that. Yeah. I know that David Lowery had a different vision, or had a particular vision for the character, and then when he casted Dev Patel, they kind of shaped it together, and you could really, really see that because he fully embodies it. I loved every moment of Dev Patel's performance.
Incredible.
Whew,
he's Oscar good. Like he's Oscar good.
He's
Oscar good. Like,
wasn't he nominated before?
I don't know, but he's Oscar good in this movie, man. Like he's that good.
Oh my
like,
God.
My parents asked me, they were like, oh, how was the movie? And I was like, it was interesting. And they were like, how was Dev? And I was like, good ass actor, bro. There's a scene where he's just face acting. And by that, I mean a good thing, not the Michael B. Jordan version. He did. Yeah, but he's like, he's not saying anything, but he's just expressing so much in an entire like 20-minute, portion of the film. And it's kind of amazing. It's incredible. There's amazing 100%. Scenes in this movie that are really cool. And I can't wait to talk to you about it, Sabrina.
I can't wait either, but I can already say.
But am I right with the hip hop shit?
Well, I guess, like, sure. But I already know that when we do the next Cuddy Awards, 100% Dev Patel is going to be a lock for Best Actor for me. Like, there's just no way that too many people are going to be able to top this enough to not have him at least be nominated. True.
Was there any movies coming out this year that you kind of heard about recently, guys? I'll toss this to you, RB3. Maybe a movie you just heard about that you didn't know about, but now you kind of want to see it?
Well, first of all, as Zeno Hour said in the chat, Dev, I keep wanting to call him Dave Chappelle.
Oh yeah, Lion.
Yeah.
He was great in that, bro.
Also starring one of my favorite movies of all time, of course, Slumdog Millionaire, which I think he deserved an Oscar nomination for, but it's probably too young.
Rooney Mara was in Lion, right?
Yeah, Rooney Mara was in Lion. Yeah, Nicole Kidman, great film.
Yeah, the Aussie.
Yeah, Gareth. It was Gareth who directed that. I don't know if it was.
I believe so.
There was a guy named Garrett. I know that. Okay, but anyway.
But was there any movie that you're interested in seeing that you didn't know about?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I didn't know about. I didn't see any trailers for. Oh, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I have to like think about. I've been seeing a lot of trailers when I go to movies, but there's been some stuff that's been popping up that, and like I saw, like we were talking about last night in Soho, Sabrina. I literally hadn't seen the trailer for that at all. I didn't even know, like, I knew it was coming out, but I didn't know there was a trailer out until I was sitting, I think, for like another movie, and that ended up popping up. So that's just kind of like how my exposure for some of these things are coming along. I obviously like there's that weird like I don't know if Netflix like leaked this intentionally or like why this trailer is coming out this way, but they had that little 30-second clip of "Don't Look Up." I don't know if y'all saw that.
Was it the Leo one?
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Literally the biggest.
I didn't see the trailer, but I heard about it.
Yeah, and it's so weird because there's no trailer. It's like just a 30-second video recording of somebody like recording the trailer on their cell phone. And I'm like, wait, what is this? Why is it coming out this way? And then
probably didn't.
Well, I mean, but then the outlets were like reporting it like it was a trailer. I don't know, whatever. But then this cast, I mean, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize this cast until I saw this trailer. Because the thing is literally 30 seconds and this 20 seconds of just listing names. But let me tell y'all this cast real quick. Timothy Chalamet, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Kate Blanchett, Meryl Streep, Ron Perlman, Jonah Hill. I think he's like the president. Matthew Perry.
Sounds corny as hell.
Tyler Perry, Kid Cudi.
All right, it's picking up steam.
Mark Rylance. Like, look at this cast. This
you got me at Tyler Perry.
I gotta see this.
That's where I was like, yo, you got me. Yeah, I remember that. I remember them talking about how it's like a crazy cast and they got the best actors or whatever. It doesn't mean it'll be a good movie, but we'll see.
It's Adam McKay. Oh, I see, man. You're hating on this. I come here with some positivity and you're hating on my stuff, man. Look at that. That's fighting material right there. I'm hyped for this movie.
They probably just paid him $100 million each, and they're like, "Here you go. We're Netflix.
Yeah,
that's what we do. We're not like Disney, out here, not paying Scarlett Johansson for playing Asian trees.
So you know what? This is the one and only time I'm gonna have to side with my girl ScarJo. Hold up, where's
my girl ScarJo?
Yes.
Boom. Come on, I don't know what.
Seriously,
I don't know what.
My girl ScarJo.
There's something. This is. I don't know what's. People want to like out left or out progressive each other or something like on Twitter. I don't know what that's about. But there's like this weird narrative like, she's already a millionaire. Like she shouldn't be asking for money. It's not about like her.
It's not about.
It's not about that. It's about what this is going to set precedent for. Like, and I said this. Yeah. Like, if you go back to the first episode when we were talking about all this stuff, I was literally like, yo, the streaming is different. This is not going to be the same kind of money. There's contracts that are already signed, and these contracts are not going to be fulfilled with this new model that they're doing, And I said that, and people are like, whatever, they don't have to live with it. But no, people are not going to live with losing tens of millions of dollars in bonuses. And this is, and people are thinking like, this is only going to apply to like the big actors and they're not getting money. No, you think it's going to happen to ScarJo. You don't think it's going to happen to the next, Anthony Ramos in the Heights. You don't think it's going to happen to, Chloe Grace Moretz, even though she's she's a bigger star too, but like I'm just for Tom and Jerry, like these movies that are coming out like simultaneously with even LeBron. I'm sure even LeBron has something in his contract that was like, we have to hit a certain number. But again, he's a bigger star, but it's going to affect little stars too. That's what I'm saying. Like it's going to affect people who are on the rise and people who are coming up and people who frankly are struggling to make it in Hollywood. Like Hollywood is not a cheap place to live in, and especially like actors who might be taking a minimal contract and might be receiving points on the back end. When they're not receiving back end, they just ended up losing a whole 3 to 6 months of their life for a project that they're never going to get that time back for. So it's really, to me, it's really impactful. And Disney, there's a whole lot that we could go into with Disney in terms of how they've been treating their park workers, how they laid off 28,000 workers from their Disney parks, while at the same time they received like $550 million in stimulus. So it's like come on, Disney, like y'all gotta pick and choose. Like y'all want to be the biggest company in the world and do all this, or you actually have to pay people with respect, and 100%. I'm frankly on the side of the people with this one.
Yeah, I mean, this happened way back in December with Wonder Woman 84. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Where people were trying to figure out what to do. What do we do? Do we put this in theaters? Freaking Gal Gadot. And then finally they were like, you know what? We're going to pay Gal Gadot everything she would have been owed if this did come out in theaters. Remember they said that? They would pay her bonuses from the theaters. That's what HBO Max said, and they released that.
But are they going to do that for everybody, though?
That's the thing. I don't know. I assume that they did, and that's what Disney was doing. But apparently, according to this lawsuit, they didn't. And I was like, that's kind of dumb on Disney's part, considering they're bigger than HBO Max and they're bigger than freaking Warner Brothers and all that.
And again, they have a relationship with her. She's been working on these films for like a decade.
Yeah.
How can you do that to one of your main stars? That just shows if you can have one of the most highest paid actresses and you can like do them dirty, like RB3 said, like the smaller ones, it's forget about it. Disney's much bigger than you and you'll never win. And so when somebody else steps up, it's going to help other people who might experience this to be able to share their side of the story and not kind of be like clouded by the whole studio system. And that's why it is really, really important, because a lot of creators and filmmakers that are behind some of the movies that have already come out and are still coming out on streaming, they've said like, this isn't the most ideal thing in general. And then like having months of rent or whatever else you have to pay taken away from you basically. That's definitely, I'm on Scarlett Johansson's side 100%. I'm on any actor's side. Well, I'm not on her side 100%. I'm on her side on this
issue.
on this
Because
on this one.
Because people are like people are making the argument. It's like, it's Scarlett Johansson like complaining, Scarlett Johansson being privileged, like, you know. But it's not about privilege versus not privilege. This is about creators versus the company. You know, like the company who's just willy nilly willing to take money out of the creators' pockets. And at the same time, like you said, she's been in this franchise since 2010. Her movie was way overdue. They already killed this movie by not releasing it 4 years ago or 5 years ago. They already shot the movie in the foot by just doing that. Now it's like and then they're double hindering the success by putting it on Disney Plus simultaneously. And now you're not even trying to pay out for that. Like, nah, that's
at least
crazy.
pay them out for it, because Netflix does, and apparently Warner Brothers does, but we don't know.
There's definitely also like an issue about, you know, obviously like gender in Hollywood and look at this like greedy woman, she's asking for more money, when if it was like Robert Downey Jr., no offense to him, like this is nothing against him at all, but if it was him that was doing something like this, everybody would be like, 100%, like look what he's done for the franchise. She's been a part of it almost just as long as he was. And that's the same thing. It's where like if it was reversed, people wouldn't care and people wouldn't be in an uproar. But because it's her and because it's a woman, look at what happened with Michelle Williams when they did the reshoots for All the Money in the World. She was paid $80 a day while Mark Wahlberg was paid $1.5 million. Yeah. $80 a day.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, no, go ahead.
That's like why everybody has to talk about that kind of stuff, because the second that was out, people were pissed and people were upset. And if it happens to somebody like Michelle Williams, who's an incredible actress and has already had like an established career, imagine again what they do to smaller actresses and smaller actors.
Yeah, it really is one of those things where it's an issue that hasn't really been worked out. And honestly, it kind of brings up a different conversation, mainly talking about Hollywood movies in the marketplace now, considering there is so much streaming and considering there is so much question marks on the movie theaters now, right, guys? Because we don't know what's happening with movie theaters now, considering it feels like a lot of things are starting to shut back down, or at least a little bit back down, enough to make a dent in your box office. And to me, it kind of presents the question, kind of going into our Blue Beetle news that you presented, Sabrina, and that I've been tweeting about throughout the day, just because, again, when I hear HBO Max movie for the only Latin character we have, I'm just like, bro, y'all really making us a TV movie? Like, y'all really out here doing this when we make up 25% of the box office and we've been the most supportive, you know, minority demographic in the entire United States for the past like 20 years. Y'all really doing that? Making a TV movie, fam? Like, that's what we get? Like, that's ridiculous. And it's one of those things where you don't give it a shot. And it's another example of what happened with In the Heights, where a lot of people are like, oh yeah, see, no brown people can't make money. And it's like, bro, give us a chance. Give us a movie that a lot of people will want to see. And when you finally have it, you put it on a streaming service, and it's like, now how much are you going to pay the actor? How much are you going to pay the director? How many people are even going to see it? We don't know, because we're not going to get the chance to let the people decide by putting it in a theater. And I feel like a lot of that comes down to what choices people have between what is popular inside a movie theater and what is popular on on a streaming service, what is popular, what would have been popular if it was in a movie theater. I think of the most profitable movies of all time. Look at Get Out, right? What if Get Out was a streaming movie, y'all? Think about it for 1 sec. What if that was a streaming movie? Would that be? I don't know. I just don't.
It wouldn't have had the same impact.
I don't know. I don't even know if it would have been Oscar nominated. Probably not.
A lot of people enjoyed the theatrical experience because of the way that film was like set up and everything. There's just a lot to kind of tackle with a subject like this. And I couldn't remember. Bad Education was an HBO movie.
It was.
And it was essentially a TV movie. And that's the thing. So I think,
which is what Blue Beetle would be, which is ridiculous.
Well, I think HBO Max is probably going to try to kind of transition into this way of like putting out the Netflix type of stuff where it's like, yeah, it's streaming movies.
Oh, thank you, Bass. Just subscribe. Thank you, Bass.
Thank you. Putting out streaming movies that aren't necessarily TV movies, because Bad Education coming out in 2020, HBO coming out with TV movies that are strictly on HBO and not theatrically released for like a long time, for at least like decades. Yeah. And so I think they're probably transitioning from like, oh, this HBO exclusive movie is a TV movie into, look, we also have big blockbusters on our streaming service. I think there's pros and cons to it. I 100% think that a film like this should not be exclusive to a streaming service. If you're going to have your first time having a Latino superhero and right at the forefront, I think that's the same thing that's happening with Batgirl. Honestly, I couldn't remember.
Was it exactly a show or was it a movie as well?
Well, the Leslie Grace from In the Heights was just cast, and I think that's going to be an HBO Max movie as well. So now we have another one. We have like a Dominican American that was that's now going to be leading a movie that is going to be HBO Max exclusive, but we have like the Suicide Squad and all these other DC films that are being released theatrically. Why is that? Is it because they don't want to put their money where their mouth is? Like,
yeah, and it hasn't even gone into production. And why limit yourself by trying to make a streaming service movie when you can put it in theaters? By the time it comes out, it's like 2 years from now. Like, you're going to have an audience for it. Why not give it a shot? Why not give people the opportunity to support a movie in theaters with their own damn money? And go pay money to see it in a theaters in an environment that, you know, is made for it. It's a freaking superhero movie, man. And it's literally the only brown kid we have. And you're going to put it on a TV movie? Like, that's corny as hell.
Well, that's
corny.
Well, Marvel, see a chance, man. Y'all can step up and beat DC to it. Y'all let DC.
Marvel don't even have no Latin dudes.
Well, they could roll Miguel out. Roll Miguel, you know, from Spider-Man, 2099.
Or Miles.
Yeah, or Miles too. I mean, too. Yeah, I mean, roll them out now. Like, don't sleep on it. They slept on and let DC have Wonder Woman and have the first, you know, major, you know, woman superhero movie. And they, you know, as far as I'm concerned, Wonder Woman is still better than Captain Marvel, in my opinion, and Black Widow, in my personal opinion. You know, I don't know, and you know, we don't have to compare them. There's no reason to compare them. No reason. But I'm just saying, like, they're all great. They're first out the gate. Like, it's good to be the first out the gate and good to be groundbreaking. Like, that's awesome. That's a brilliant thing. Black Panther, it worked for Black Panther.
But you imagine if they said Black Panther coming straight to Disney Plus?
Yeah, well, that's it. That's tragic. And
wouldn't that be kind of shitty?
That'd be terrible.
That'd be shitty.
And I think, unfortunately, I mean,
it made $200 million opening weekend, and it's $1 billion movie.
And you know, I don't know. I mean, it looks like the way things are moving with the lead up to Shang-Chi, it could be a possibility that this might also become another Disney Plus situation too. I know they said they weren't going to do that rolling forward, but right now it's looking like, again, another major Asian American superhero that people are like really, really looking forward to. Might not happen to have that same like theatrical experience or release that people.
Yeah, it really is crazy that, you know, like once they're finally starting to add like diversity into the mix of the DCEU, they're like, yeah, but you could go straight to streaming, and
make it like a streaming movie, which is just worse.
It's
like someone commented like, if it was a show, I'd kind of be like, all right, it's a show, you know, it could be like a badass Game of Thrones type show. Nope, it's a streaming movie, and I'm like, that's corny.
It's probably gonna have the quality that the DCEU movies have. I'm assuming like it's not gonna be like TV movie quality, but still, why not introduce this where people have the option to be able to see it in a theater. Even if you're going to do, I don't know what their plan is to continue on with the day and date release type of thing, like how they're going to roll that out in 2022 and 2023 or when that's going to end. But I understand films like whatever, I think like The Little Things with Jared Leto and stuff like that. I understand a film like that dropping on HBO Max exclusively, like sure. But like a tentpole superhero film, especially having like being the first Latino led one, it just doesn't really make sense from a business standpoint.
Dude y'all have,
literally,
and it's going straight to streaming, and I'm like, really?
And now it's the same thing with Leslie Grace, and it's like if you do want to push the DCEU forward and continue on that brand and build that foundation to have a cinematic universe, a successful cinematic universe, why put these new characters that you're introducing into the DCEU straight onto the streaming service? I understand day and date release. If they were doing that, I'd be like, whatever, who cares? People have the option to see it in theaters. But to have it be exclusive, I just feel like that's a misfire, because if somebody doesn't have HBO Max, they're not going to be able to watch it.
I just feel like I can't imagine Kevin Feige coming out and being like, finally, guys, we have Brie Larson as Captain Marvel coming straight to youtube.com, or it's just like, what?
Yeah.
Or Disney.com. And it's like, finally, guys, Chadwick Boseman, great actor, is playing the legendary Black Panther, coming straight to streaming. And it's like, the F, bro? Like,
I wouldn't necessarily go that far. I don't think HBO Max is like that bad of a landing spot, because the original movies so far haven't been too bad. I mean, they had No Sudden Move that came out.
I'm talking about the only DC superhero character that is brown.
Yeah, no,
and you're going to put him on a streaming service?
That's
a huge difference than like a good HBO movie.
But you're saying you're comparing it to YouTube.
I'm talking about a superhero movie.
It's not the same. It's not the same. I'm telling you.
I'm saying superhero movie.
Yeah,
a superhero movie that is projected to make
Zack
over $100 million.
Justice League also came out on HBO
that's
Max.
Completely
that's
different.
fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Completely different.
But I'm just saying that you can still have an impact on streaming too. It's still an impact that can be had on streaming. But I'm saying that
it's limiting your entire scope.
No, of course. It is limiting the entire scope. I do think that's a bad decision. I do think that is a limiting decision. But I do think of all the streaming services to land on, HBO Max is probably the best place to land on, if that's the options that we're out of the options we are given. So at least on that level.
DC's only superhero that is a brown dude, and it's literally a superhero. This isn't DC's, street cop coming to HBO Max. He investigates the crimes. Like, no, this is a freaking
Space Jam,
superhero.
Space Jam, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like,
there's alien ships, there's freaking
with the day and date release, I don't mind like having that. And Kylie mentioned in the chat, Miss Marvel and Moon Knight, those are shows. So it makes more sense that they're dropping straight out, because it's a series. But when it comes to a huge film, that just doesn't make any sense to not have people like have the option to be able to experience it for the first time however they would choose to, whether it is on streaming, which some people might prefer that, and that's great. But to not have it released theatrically at all, I think is the biggest issue, because also for the star of it, even talking, because since RB3 mentioned Zack Snyder's Justice League earlier, I feel like once that came out, it made a huge splash because of all the controversy, and then it kind of fizzled out. Like, I haven't really heard anybody talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League in months, ever. Like, not even like slightly mention it. And so that's the thing, like with this one, I don't want it to, even In the Heights came out, people were talking about it. I haven't heard any of my friends that are general, like movie going audience, like any of that kind of stuff. They just don't show an interest in it as much. So I feel like with some of these bigger films, like a big tentpole blockbuster, dropping it on that streaming service, it is going to have such a short shelf life of being relevant. And that's what doesn't make sense to me if I'm building up a cinematic universe. I wouldn't want any of my new stars, my new characters, my new players that are part of it to kind of be put to the side or feel like they are. That just doesn't really make sense to me from a business standpoint or from a creative standpoint to not have the option.
Business standpoint, when it has been proven, I've been saying this for years, that 25% of the box office is made up by Latinos. Latinos will go out to pay money to go see your damn movie, and you're saying no to free money and no to actual support from a community that goes and we support the F out of our community, bro. Like even in the damn Olympics, We're out here supporting any kind of Latino that's in the Olympics. And it's one of those things where, like, you're talking about one of the most supportive communities in all of the US when it comes to a minority group, demographic wise, and you're saying no to that? Like, that's some corny shit, bro. Because that we will pay money to go see a brown dude. We will pay money to see a Latino superhero, regardless of it's freaking Blue Beetle, fam. Like, we don't even have like a real ass superhero. We have Blue Beetle, but F it, we'll be happy because it's at least it's a Mexican kid or a brown kid or an Ecuadorian kid who can actually be a star, and we can make him a star, and we will do it. We will support. Latinos support each other, and you're not giving us the chance to do that. You're making us subscribe to a freaking streaming service to do that? That's corny. I just think it's corny as hell. I don't know. That's just me. I've been talking about a Blue Beetle movie for the past 6 years, if not more.
Yeah, you've mentioned it before multiple times to me, like literally over such a long period of time, basically since I've known you.
And when they finally do it, they're like, yeah, but it's going to be a TV movie. You know, maybe it'll get Emmy nomination for visual effects. And it's like, what?
I wonder if the success.
That's what I'm saying, though.
No, it won't do that. That's what I'm saying. I think if it's on HBO Max, it will do better. It will do better than that. If it's on Disney Plus or on Netflix, it will probably just land on the visual effects nomination thing and just like die forever. Yes, for Emmys. But
it won't get Oscars. It'll get Emmys.
Well, yeah, but Emmys are good too. And I also think you're right. It will fizzle out. It would die like a lot sooner on HBO Max in that capacity. And it also, it wouldn't. I think there's also just the benefit of like the theatrical experience is just like the rewatchability of it, getting more people, word of mouth, like all that kind of stuff. Like that definitely builds like an extra hype factor to it. My only thing is like, if Warner Brothers and HBO, I don't know. It depends on like what they're planning on, what their marketing like plan is for this, right? Like, do they plan on like is there do they want this, like, also the marketing is the execution. If we see it's like a cheap movie that they put no investment in, then you know what their stand is. But if there's something that they actually believe in and they're actually willing to push and market, and that can actually be a success on the streaming platform, then okay, then it's a little bit less egregious than like not doing the movie at all. So I definitely.
But I feel like that's such a low bar nowadays. Like not doing the movie at all is just like so. It's just a non-existent bar because I feel like anyone can make the movie nowadays. And to be honest, if you really do believe in a film and if you really do believe in it, put it in theaters. Let people watch it in theaters.
I've been saying that.
Let him market the movie as the number one movie at the box office. Let him market it as a movie that people can go out and see and take their family, take their grandma, take their grandmama, take their primos, or whatever to go see a damn movie. Like that's believing in a movie. And I mean, I just feel like they're shortcutting themselves so much. And I know a lot of people are going to celebrate it. I eventually will celebrate it. It's just my first reaction now because I didn't even realize it was going straight to HBO Max. I eventually will because I always do. I celebrate every damn Latin. I've told you guys I go out of my way to watch them and try to pay money if I can to go see them just because that's kind of what I want to support. But it's still such a bummer when you realize what could have been. Again, it's like saying great movies that have come out in the past that have surpassed expectations and trying to limit that scope by saying, oh yeah, this movie has a Mexican dude in it, let's put it on streaming. And it's like, ooh, really? Y'all really doing that? Or this movie has a black dude in it, let's put it on streaming. It's like, really? That's outdated.
Like, this is like a Dominican American who is a rising star. By the point that this film comes out, 100% like people are going to know who she is. And yeah, it's like not taking a full chance on it. It's like, okay, we'll kind of try it out. We'll see how it works on this one thing. And that's just, again, that doesn't, from a creative standpoint as well, doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if they saw like the success of having the Marvel shows be exclusively like on Disney Plus, and maybe that influenced their decisions to say like, okay, people like to watch superhero stuff at home, but it's like, that's different because those are shows that you get excited about. People talk about it every single week because of the rollout. Whereas this is going to be a one-time thing. And like we kind of said, like, it's just going to fizzle out. So I think it's disappointing. I hope they change their minds by the time that like this film ends up coming out. I don't know how that works, but I'll watch it on HBO Max. I'll support it 100%. It is very exciting, and also the actor that they cast from Cobra Kai, like he's really. I haven't seen the show, but I've seen bits and pieces of him in it, and he's just really talented. So it's just really cool to have a young person coming up like this and getting this opportunity to be in a huge film. I just wish their execution on the release was better.
Yeah, I just don't. I think there could be more of an investment, like you said, Sabrina. Even with the Disney Plus shows, at least it's a series where you feel some sort of investment on a week-to-week basis, where you're actually invested in the story and you want to see it. But again, we'll see. I just feel like it's a bummer because nowadays, when it comes to streaming, and we see the ScarJo thing, and we see how certain stars can be made in certain movies because they were given a chance to be in theaters. Again, I'll go back to, bro, time is a flat circle. Like, look at Daniel Kaluuya, look at Get Out, and going from Get Out to being Oscar nominated to then Judas and the Black Messiah to then Oscar winning Judas and the Black Messiah. This is all like one straight thing, one
Judas
straight
and the
line.
Black Messiah was an HBO Max release though.
No. But I'm saying it's one of those things where Daniel Kaluuya, a lot of people found and discovered him because of Get Out, and I just feel like, you imagine just Get Out coming in Hulu, and it's like, it would be kind of cheap and kind of corny. And I just feel like part of the charm of people discovering a new actor, discovering a new movie, and falling in love with the movie is seeing it in theaters.
Also, by the time the movie is done and comes out on HBO Max, this might be different. But I'm pretty sure HBO Max also, like right now, isn't international. It's not as easily accessible for a lot of people because it's not on some like TV apps and things like that. So I feel like before you start dropping stuff exclusively on HBO Max like that, maybe make your subscriber number go up just a little bit, because HBO Max doesn't have nearly as many subscribers as something like Netflix or like whatever. And so that's why the Netflix stuff works, because they know what films to put on there straight to Netflix. Army of the Dead, having a very limited theatrical release, but also being released on Netflix. That was great. Or something crappy like The Woman in the Window. That's a perfect film to just drop on Netflix, you know, because if people are mad about it being a crappy movie, they're not going to have this outrage because it's like, oh, low risk, done, no reward, but whatever.
Yeah, but I also feel like Netflix has been, you know, marketing themselves and making those movies for years. That's what they do. They do movies solely for streaming. People watch the movies on Netflix.
They've stepped their game up, though. They have stepped their game up with like Netflix originals, basically.
No, yeah,
with like
I'm
Roma,
not
Irishman, Marriage Story.
And they get their nominations and they get their attention, and you know, deservedly so. But I feel like still at the end of the day, they're Netflix movies, and people have that appreciation of like, oh, it's a Netflix movie, I'm going to watch it on Netflix. Whereas Warner Brothers can and does have the choice to pick and choose what projects they want to see in theaters. They have the choice to do that. They can say, we are Warner Brothers. We're one of the oldest, most powerful companies. We can put this on the big screen. We can put this on the big screen. We can put this on streaming. We can put that on stream. Like, they can choose. Whereas Netflix is like, it's going to streaming. Like, that's just what they do. And I just feel like Warner Brothers has the power to make these movies and give the audience a chance to see it in the theaters. And I just feel like it's a bummer.
Yeah, but you know, it's, you know, and it's funny you're saying Warner Brothers. Sometimes with deals like this, sometimes I think it goes a little bit above Warner Brothers too. You know, I think it's, you know, we got to look at AT&T, right? Like, and I think AT&T probably looks at the HBO Max numbers and sees, hey, we don't have literally enough Latinos on our signed up for our platform. If we make a Latino superhero movie, though, I bet that'll get them. I bet that'll help our algorithm a little bit. So that's part of the mindset too.
That could be, yeah. I'm not, maybe, but I just feel like that's just, I don't know, man. You imagine AT&T being like, yo, AT&T is calling up Christopher Nolan, and he's gonna say no. Oh, that's not going to stream.
Listen, do you think Nolan chose to put a black dude in this movie? No, never happened. It will never happen.
What are you trying to say?
It will never happen. But somebody at Warner Brothers was like, hey,
but I'm saying,
you know, you gotta.
But he refused to put that on streaming. He didn't want to put that on streaming. He didn't make this. So I mean, yeah, but he refused to do it, and unfortunately, Nolan. Not unfortunately, he has a lot of power because he has a lot of movies and a lot of success and a lot of critical acclaim. But, you know, unfortunately, in this business, you could leverage your power a lot more in certain
people and with certain properties, and certain people and properties can leverage better things. And right now, like, Blue Beetle, I don't personally know if how popular Blue Beetle is to like the popular zeitgeist. I don't know if it's a very popular character. So they would, I don't know, like, if that has the same kind of like sticking powers, like a Nolan saying like, no, you're only going to release this in theaters.
But that's not my point. I mean, you could say the same about Iron Man back in 2008. Like, it's just one of those things where that's irrelevant.
We're not in 2008 though. It's a different time now.
But we haven't seen it. We've never seen a Latino superhero, bro.
That's
like,
true.
We've never seen one.
No, you're right.
So you're really
right.
putting a cap on that? You can't put a cap on that because Latinos
absolutely.
will go out and will support it. We've never seen a freaking full-blown, big-ass budget Latino superhero kicking ass in a big way. We've never seen that. So it's one of those things where it's like, now that we can, you're really going to put that on streaming? I just feel like that's so limiting. And it's one of those things where we can look back on movies nowadays. Let's look back on like It Chapter 1. What year did that come out? 2017?
We're talking about a different climate though. Like, I don't know.
No, but I'm saying, like, you mentioned putting that on streaming. Like, it might have done great numbers, but it still wouldn't have made what it made.
I know.
Would have done culturally if it wasn't in theaters.
Now I'm kind of like.
Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse is a good example.
Yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse could have easily dropped on if Disney Plus would
have done great streaming numbers, but it wouldn't have been what it is.
Yeah, people would have loved to check it out, but it became what it was, and it was talked about the way that it was because people were able to check it out in a theater and have that experience with it for the first time. Now, it's like Soul is another kind of example because, they just like dropped it like for free, and that's amazing because people are going to have the chance to watch it much easier. But if it's in theaters and things like that, you can have a completely different experience that is so special. And so that's why, like, I would love to go see this movie, like, with my dad. My dad's a huge comic book fan. He's from Mexico. Like, this would be a story that, like, he could connect with on a specific level. But we're just going to have to watch that at home and just, like, sit there. And him and I going to the movie theaters is one of our favorite things to do, literally since I can remember. One of my first memories is seeing a movie with my dad. But yeah, it just kind of sucks. Like, it just doesn't really make any sense. I feel like it's kind of already like crapping on everybody that's going to be working on it, because it's going to fizzle out. And yeah, it just like not having the faith in your properties to like do big numbers and just doing like having like it be gimmicky, like it's just dropping on HBO Max. Like the only way you have to sign up, or the only way you can see it is to sign up for HBO Max. I just feel like that's not going to be successful in the long run. It might get you short-term subscribers, but you have to have that retention. So you can't just bank on, we put this big movie on the streaming service. Now we'll get all these subscribers from different areas, different demographics, because like, well, then what do they have to stick with you? Nothing, maybe nothing really. That's why they didn't have the streaming service in the first place. So it's like, it just doesn't make sense why you wouldn't also at least put it in theaters.
So what if instead of doing it as one movie, they just released it as a 6-part week-to-week miniseries? Because I personally, y'all confuse me a little bit because every week y'all come in here and tell me how streaming is some revolutionary, groundbreaking thing for just doing the normal thing that TV is doing. Not. But I don't know. For me personally, that's how I feel sometimes.
No, but tell me, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, like when we talked about Fear Street, like y'all like, this is some revolutionary like releasing of like these movies. No, this is NBC used to do this in the 80s. It was called the TV movie of the week, That's just how I feel. In the same way with like y'all are like, like Loki and Falcon Winter Soldier being released week to week is changing the game. Nah, it's just how TV shows.
I didn't even watch Loki.
I know. I mean,
I did not say that. Don't quote me.
I'm just saying, like that's just the old model of doing things. Now this is just another version to me of this is just another version of me. But that's them doing that's that. Not the case. And they're sticking to this old head mentality, which is I don't want them to stick in this old head mentality. I do want them to change and be progressive. But do we want them to change and be progressive just with movies, or do we want them to do we want are we only going to limit this to movies or miniseries, or how are we going to start categorizing these things? Because right now, there's no definition for either of this stuff, and frankly, the stuff that's
I agree with you.
And frankly, the stuff that's getting most left out is the best quality stuff. Like the stuff that's in between, like the small acts, had no recognition from the Oscars or the Emmys, that just ends up just messing everything up. Like I'm sure the same thing's going to happen with the Underground Railroad too. Then
why isn't it not going to happen with this? It's the same thing.
Well, I mean, again, so we have to pick and choose. Like, as Warner Brothers, as AT&T, are they going to try and push this as a major release, as a major superhero thing for, themselves, for like, for the audience, for the consumers, or are they just looking to tell like a more smaller scale story? If they're looking to tell a smaller scale story, do it in a format, I guess, that's more conducive to the streaming services, at least.
Correct. That's my point. My point is, I've seen, you guys have never seen a single episode of Game of Thrones. I saw every single season of Game of Thrones on a weekly basis, where that was the biggest show of all time. And it was incredible, and it was beautiful, and it was wonderful. And it had great stories, great characters that resonated with a lot of people from all over the world. That's a show, and it's a show that was worth it. It's a show that was meant for that version of the story, where you're telling it in an episodic nature, and people were tuning in and watching it and spoiling it hours later every Sunday. Live, because that's how it was enjoyed. I'm cool with that. I think that's revolutionary. I think people can watch these kind of shows on HBO and tune in. We saw it with Watchmen. We saw it with other. I would be actually kind of cool with the 10-episode, 9-episode, 8-episode Blue Beetle series. But the fact that you tell me it's a streaming movie, that's when you lose me, because I'm just like, bro, then it's behind the candelabra. Like, bro, it's like,
this is a great movie, by the way.
It's just a great movie, but it's like, who saw that? Like, but that's an HBO movie. This is a Latino superhero movie that is literally the only Latin dude we have. Like, y'all really gonna make it an HBO movie, streaming movie? Like, make it a series, make it a big 3-season arc. That'd be kind of cool. I'd be down with that. I actually would. But like, you lost me on the movie thing. I'm just like, really? Like Sabrina said, that'll fizzle out in like a week, if not less. Like, if you make it an actual series with a 3-season plan or something like that, I'd be down for that. I don't know.
Movies are in like theaters, preserve that kind of idea of it being a communal experience. And of course you can watch it with people like in your home and different things like that. But you are missing out on some level of like discourse around it, just like people talking about what they just experienced and what they're feeling and all these different things. I used to love watching like something I remember is like when Phantom Menace and other films were coming out and people were lined up and like news crews were like interviewing people as they were like going into the theater. It's because it's a whole experience and it's a whole like memorable night for yourself. So they're limiting themselves on the amount people are going to be enjoying it with others and celebrating it with others and talking about it in specific ways. We talk about box office, even if you're not into that kind of stuff, that's a discussion as well. And then people are talking about the movie and somebody could be like, oh, this was #1. So a lot of people are liking it. I should go check it out. And that's not going to happen at all. And you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot already.
With the community that has been proven to go out to the movies and watch any kind of movie. We will watch comedies, we will watch horrors, we will watch superhero films, like the article said, and several articles have said, and several statistics have been done, have shown that Latinos are the biggest supporting movie-going audiences in the whole domestic box office market. And you're saying no to that, but sure, cool, go for it. That's still that. I mean, look at me, I'm a dumbass questioning that. I'm questioning that you're losing a lot of money. But what do I know?
You're right. You're right. Hopefully somebody from HBO.
Literally the largest demographic in the entire movie-going audience.
Yeah.
Bro.
AT&T is watching this right now.
Exactly, bro. Streaming numbers are more important.
Send this to AT&T guys. Let them know that
they're gonna be like, bro, we just want people on the app, and the longer they stay, the more money we get made.
Yeah, that's really
I'm serious. That's what it is.
That's what the problem is. That's what I'm saying. It comes to AT&T more than it comes to Warner Brothers to me when it comes to stuff.
But I'm saying, even if that is the case, at least make a series, fam. Like, at least make like a friggin' three season like Game of Thrones epic style type shit. Like, make it something, man.
Yeah.
Don't give us like a damn 2-hour movie or like $1.48 or $1.30, and they're gonna be like, here you go. Here, an hour and 30 minutes of ridiculousness. And it's just like, God damn, really?
That's the TV. That's the TV movie right there.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's the TV movie. It's $1.30. Here you go. Yeah, he's from El Paso, and he's, his family's from Juarez. He went crazy, and then look at that. He shot the guy. Oh, cool.
We'll come back to this clip when this is the exact movie.
Just a bunch of this.
Yeah. But I'm serious, though. Like, is that how you really want to? All right, cool. You want to do that to a community?
Well, that's how you know that, like, again, sometimes, like, not sometimes, a lot of the times, these companies and these studios and these people behind everything, they kind of push aside the possibility of like growth and like creative growth and everything like that, all for money, for a like short-lived money. Just because, somebody's gonna be on for a month,
pat himself on the back too. It's also because if it is for money, if you do, like I just said, if you want to keep people on the app longer, make a show. Like Amazon is spending like $1 kajillion on their freaking Lord of the Rings show, and I know they obviously are like
they have $1 kajillion to do it.
But also, like Game of Thrones has been proven to show they've spent a lot of money on that. They've spent a lot of money on Westworld. But when it comes to like the only Latin dude, y'all are gonna make it like some random ass movie.
In today's day and age, you can make a really incredible series that people talk about for so long. Look at Queen's Gambit.
It lasts forever, dude.
Bridgerton, all
or
these
Game
random
of Thrones.
ones. It's like
I just said Game of Thrones.
But even like smaller stuff that like people might not know because it's like, Queen's Gambit is based
Stranger
on a book.
Things.
This girl plays chess and whatever and like is struggling in different ways like with her life. And it was huge. So many people watched it. Look at Bridgerton, like period piece, different things like that, like with like a modern approach. It's very interesting how on board people are with series like this and series that kind of like come out of left field and push a specific like boundary. If this was a show, I would be 100% into it. I thought when they said that Batgirl was going to be dropping on HBO Max, I thought they were making a series.
Me too.
And so that's when I found out today about this and then about how that's a movie as well. That's where I'm like, both of these are going exclusively to HBO Max
as a
movie.
Any final thoughts before we call it a night?
I'm excited for House of Gucci.
That's my boy.
Adam Driver and Lady Gaga. I love Lady Gaga so much. Yeah. I mean, Ridley Scott is the hardest working man ever.
Doesn't he have another movie coming out this year too?
Probably. He's ancient,
He has two. He has The Last Duel.
He's like 90.
And he's literally like 83 or something like that.
No,
he has The
like
Last
84,
Duel.
85, yeah.
What? That's exactly what I just said. I said 83.
He's almost
I was
90.
like a year off.
Homie's 100.
He's trying to push him closer to 90. He's trying to push him closer.
Yeah.
To 100 years old.
I'm like, he's like 83. But yeah, so he has The Last Duel and House of Gucci. House of Gucci looks absolutely ridiculous. I love the costumes and everything. That trailer.
Of costumes.
What?
The Green Knight costumes.
Oh,
damn.
Yeah. Yep.
It's wild. Wow. RB3, any final thoughts? Sorry, I interrupted you, Sabrina.
It's all good.
Lady Gaga looks great.
I'm not 100% sure what House of Gucci's about, but I'm sure I'm gonna figure it out when I watch.
You know Gucci.
Gucci, Tom Dagnino.
No, Gucci the brand, bro. Gucci Mane.
The Last Duel. Listen, one of these got to be good, and it's a 50-50 shot. It's the one with Ridley Scott. It got to be a 50-50 shot. He's really a 50-50 director, so it might be The Last Duel is good and House of Gucci is bad, or it might be vice versa.
I kind of feel like House of Gucci is not going to be like great. But that's like it looked like a Ryan Murphy type of, you know how he's been doing the shows like the Menendez and like OJ like crime story. Yeah. It literally has like that vibe because it's about true crime and like people are loving true crime right now. And it's about a real thing that happened in the Gucci family and the real murder. So it's definitely, I'm not thinking it's going to be a masterpiece, but I'm still very excited for it because it looks camp and it looks fun.
I also got to say I've been recently, over this past week, low-key has quickly become like one of my favorite Marvel things ever. It's the more I think about it, the more I've like really been.
Finale was fun, man. I like that finale.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually rewatched the whole series again.
No way.
It's been great. I think it's some of the most artistic storytelling that they've done in Marvel so far. it's crazy because when I went in there, I thought it was going to be like time travel and Legion and all these things, and it was like none of that. But it was kind of even more brilliant. And I also think like when you actually literally look at like the cinematography, production design, and everything like around Loki, like, you know, like there's kind of like 3 looks that Marvel kind of has. Like they have like the military, like Earth look of like Captain America and like, you know, Black Widow and Falcon Winter Soldier. Then they have like the space look of like Guardians and Thor Ragnarok. And then they kind of, I kind of consider like I consider like their period piece look like their Captain Marvel and like they're a little more like, you know, random, you know, in between. But this is kind of almost completely different. It was like a 4th complete different look of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That was like tactile and physical and like actual natural. Like most of this stuff was physical sets, but also
the production design was cool.
Yeah, but also just like crazy lighting that is like unparalleled and unpredictable. And I don't know, I really dug it. I like this. I love the series a lot, and it's definitely probably my favorite.
I still wish you guys. Oh man, I'm gonna sound like a corn dog. I wish you guys watched anime, man, and you guys could see some wild ass. If y'all want to see some like really crazy storytelling, if you watch Ghost in the Shell season 1 and 2, standalone complex, that's some wild shit. And then obviously Attack on Titan, the way they do like explanations and time travel and time explanations and lineage, and it's so cool. You just got me thinking on that, man, because if y'all wanted to see that, I would be happy. One of these days, the First Cut crew is going to watch that. Anyways, guys, that is our show for today, for this week. I know it was a wild one. I apologize if I'm too passionate, but I'm just a passionate dude. It's what I do. Sabrina, where can everyone find you?
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SabrinaXMonica, also on Twitter at SabrinaOnFilm. And if you want to hear my Green Knight thoughts, my written article is up on Geeks of Color. I'm going to have a review coming up on this channel very soon.
RB3.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Director RB3. And also you could find, download the Network app. Why don't you just download the Network app and support my job? Help me. And also we have a YouTube page, Network YouTube page. So people are like, what's RB3 doing? I miss hearing RB3's laugh in the background when things are happening. Nah, it's all still there. It's all on the YouTube page. You got some great stuff. We got Eric Bellinger. We got BJ the Chicago Kid, Hassan Minaj. We got Jay Washington on there hosting stuff. So soon Ace's episodes will probably be up on there soon. So keep looked out. Network. Just look it up on YouTube.
You can find me at Squad Leader Rays. Go support everything RB3 said, everything Sabrina said as well. Go watch Green Knight. Check it out. Let us know what you think.
Support us on Patreon.
Support us on Patreon as well. Follow us at First Cut TMO as well on Twitter and Instagram, especially on Twitter, because that's what we will be at. Either way, guys, for the First Cut crew, we're peacing out. Peace.
Divide you in half. You getting at me equals a bloodbath. You do the math, take you out the equation. This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. With the 4/5 divide you in